Hey, third grade. Today we're going to be talking about three-dimensional shapes. And today's lesson is going to be really similar to what you guys did when we did two-dimensional shapes yesterday. So I'm going to go over this anchor chart and some vocabulary words. And then you guys have some slides to fill out that are going to be very similar to what was yesterday, okay? So I'm going to start by going over this anchor chart first. All right, let's go over this. I'm trying to find a good place. Oh, well. Okay. So classifying 3D shapes. Three-dimensional figures, also known as 3D figures. So sometimes I'll say 3D shapes and 2D shapes. That means three-dimensional or two-dimensional. Have a length, width, and height. There are a variety of 3D shapes. You can describe and classify the shapes based on their attributes. A cone is one circular face, one vertex, and 0 edges. Okay, so here I have a cone. As you can see, here is the circular face. Here is the one vertex, and there are 0 edges. Okay. If you are at home and you do not have 3D shapes like this, I am pretty sure you probably have 3D shapes lying around your house. Okay, so if you need some 3D shapes to practice, you can think of this as an ice cream cone. Okay, so maybe you don't have any ice cream cones at home, but a lot of us know, or all of us know what an ice cream cone looks like. I'm also going to be attaching a link where you can have virtual manipulatives, where you can have virtual shapes for 2D and 3D, okay? A cylinder. A cylinder has two circular faces, so 1, 2, 0 vertices and 0 edges. There's one circular and there's two circulars. So if you don't have something like this, what could you use at home that would represent a cylinder? Yes, you could use a Coke can, you could use a soda can, or you could use maybe a can of corn or a can of green beans or a can of beans, some canned food, okay? That would be a cylinder. All right, a sphere, and I don't have one of these in a sphere, but a sphere is just like a basketball or a soccer ball or a tennis ball. It has 0 faces, 0 edges, and 0 vertices. A cube. A cube has 6 square faces, 8 vertices, and 12 edges, okay? A cube, what could you use at home if you didn't have anything to represent a cube? You could use a tissue box. You can also think of maybe your bedroom as a cube, okay? So the top, that's 1, 2, so 1, 2. And then you have the wall in front of you and the wall behind you, which would be 3, 4. And then the 2 walls on the side, 5 and 6, 5 and 6. Okay, but a tissue box would do maybe like a box of, if you have some like granola bars or something, but those may be more like a rectangular prism, which we're going to look at in a second. But a tissue box is a good idea of a cube if you have one of those, like a shorter tissue box, not necessarily the longer ones, okay? And then it has 8 vertices. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And then it has 12 edges. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. I know the vertices are hard to count because there's a lot of them and you kind of forget. So if you're counting vertices when you're working on this on a computer, I really encourage you to highlight your vertices and your edges as you're counting them, because that's going to help you keep track of how many you have already counted. A rectangular prism. A rectangular prism has 6 rectangular faces. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, a rectangular prism You can also turn it upside down. This could be like a box of cereal or a longer tissue box. What else could this be at home? Good. Maybe this is a box of granola bars, or maybe a box of Go-Gurts or something if you have those at home, okay? And then it also has 8 vertices. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And then it has 12 edges. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. All right. And then we have a rectangular prism. Or sorry, a triangular prism. Okay, a triangular prism has 2 triangular faces. So 1, 2. So these are your 2 triangular faces. And then it has 3 rectangular faces. 1, 2, 3. Okay. So this is your these are your 2 triangular faces on the opposite ends. They're parallel, and then you have 1 and 2, and then 3 of your rectangular faces. You have 6 vertices. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then 9 edges. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 back here. Okay. It's going to be a lot easier if you have something at home that could represent this. But again, I'm going to give you a virtual site that you can use for virtual manipulatives if you don't have something at home that represents this object. All right. So those are our 3D shapes. Okay. Here are some definitions that we need to know for 3D shapes. An edge is where the sides of 2 faces meet on a 3D figure. So here's one face and here's another face. This right here is the edge, okay? The face is the flat surface of the 3D figure. So this is a face, this is a face. All of the flat surfaces are faces. A vertex, the point where the edge of a 3D figure, where the edges of a 3D figure meet, the top point of a cone. So here's an edge and here's an edge. And this little point right here is your vertex. This is my cone, and this is the vertex. And a three-dimensional figure, or 3D figure, is a solid shape that has length, width, and height, and is fat and pops out. Okay? And I want to go over one more thing. So on this slide, you guys are going to be typing in the definitions, and you can get your definitions from this. That is perfectly acceptable. On this one, you're going to be labeling the parts of the prism. So you're just going to move these pieces to where they go. You're going to be doing 2-dimensional figures or 2-dimensional shapes and 3-dimensional shapes here. Okay, so you're just going to be dragging these figures. You can't see the whole thing in this video, but you're going to be dragging these figures to where they go. And then this is what I want to talk about, prisms. A prism is a 3D object with identical parallel ends and has flat surfaces. Okay, so I want to look at this one. A prism is a 3D object with identical parallel ends, meaning, remember, your parallel, they're on the opposite side. They're opposite of each other. Like parallel lines are going to be opposite of each other. In a rectangle, parallel lines are going to be the top and the side. The top and bottom, and then the side. Those are going to be parallel. Okay, so let's look at this one. Does this figure have identical parallel ends? Meaning, the top and the bottom are going to be the same figure. Or the 2 sides are going to be the same shape. does this figure have identical parallel ends? No, it does not. Good. It does not have identical parallel ends. This is a square. This is not the same as this up here. This is just a vertex. Okay? Now, while this one and this one on opposite sides, they are identical. That is a triangle and that is a triangle. They are not parallel because they have a vertex. They meet. Okay? But what about this one? Does this figure have identical parallel ends? Yes, this one does have identical parallel ends. This and this are the same. Those are identical, and they are never going to meet. If I kept extending this, it's never going to meet with this one, okay? But this one, they do meet. So these are not parallel. While they are the same, they are not parallel. So this is a rectangular prism. This is a triangular prism. It has two opposite sides that are parallel. They're triangles. And it has flat surfaces. So this is flat, and this is flat, okay? So it's really important that we recognize and understand what a prism is and what a pyramid is. This is a pyramid. Okay, a pyramid does not have identical parallel ends, but a prism does, okay? Then you're going to do this one. You're going to answer how many vertices, how many edges, and how many faces or bases you see. So this would be a good one to get out a highlighter on your Chromebook using the Read Write tool, and you can highlight those, or a drawing tool. And then here's a test prep question, okay? So remember, if you guys need any help or need any assistance, it's really, really important that you guys are hopping onto office hours and asking questions to either me or Mrs. Mays, whoever your math teacher is. Hope you guys have a great rest of the day, and we will see you later.